In this video, we're going to be reviewing WPX hosting, and we're going to be answering some pretty important questions, such as, is it worth it to try to get started with WPX hosting? Is the hosting fast? But most importantly, is it good? Is it going to help your website run faster? How good is the customer service? We're diving all in right now. Let's go. What is up? My name is Chris, and welcome to another video. If this is your first time here, we talk about building passive income streams that work for you so you don't have to. So if you want help building those streams, consider subscribing. Also, before we get started, spoiler alert, WPX actually is one of the best hostings out there. It's in fact one of my favorites. So to give it a try, I will be putting a link down in the description. I was able to work out a 50% discount off the first month when you use the promo code BBP or just simply using the link down in the description. Be sure to use either and enjoy that free 50% off discount. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing I want to make you aware of is that I personally use WPX. It's one of the places that I use to host almost every one of my niche sites, so I can give you the insides and out as to what's good and what's bad about WPX. I know that there's a lot of hostings, or a lot of trainings out there, I should say, on YouTube that they just kind of show you the front page and don't really give you anything interesting about how this product actually works. But I'm going to give you the inside look. So first of all, let's go ahead and jump into what WPX is, who they are, and what they represent. So here we are on the front page. It says that they are the fastest WordPress hosting. I'm not going to say that they're the fastest WordPress hosting that I've tested, but they definitely are very, very good. We're talking about probably top 5% in my personal opinion. And let's just scroll down. The cool thing about what WPX has to offer is that when you start at the top, you notice that it is run by a really stand-up guy, okay? And that guy's name is Terry Kyle. And this is his website right here. He is a complete, that's him right there. He is a complete dog lover, like 100%. He is everything dogs, right? And what he does is he actually sponsors a lot of the things that really help dogs out. You see here at the very bottom, hosting humans and dogs since 2013. See how WPX sponsors and manages our own no cage open yard animal sanctuary. So if anything, if you are a dog lover, WPX is already probably tickling your fancy because of how they treat animals. And I mean, you can't really go wrong with that, right? Who doesn't love a cool dog to have around? And that's actually him right there, Terry Kyle. So even starting up at the top, it shows that the company's run by a good guy, and that goes a long way. So let's now talk a little bit about how much WPX has to offer, and then we'll get into what you're going to get with all of those things. So let's go ahead and jump into the plans. We're going to click View Plans right here. And as you scroll down, you'll see that WPX is not the cheapest hosting in the world. We're not going to be talking about, maybe a Bluehost where you can get started for less than $5, but you got to pay 12 months up front, or a SiteGround where after a year, after you've been using it, it literally like triples in price. You don't have to worry about those kind of underhanded, backhanded tactics with WPX hosting. They have 3 tiers that you can get: $20 per month when paid annually, $41 when paid annually, or $83 when paid annually. And you'll get up to 5 websites on this first deal. You get 15 websites on the second and 35 on the third. But I know most people are probably going to want to pay monthly with this. If you don't want to, if you don't have the upfront to be able to pay that, whatever it will be, about $249 or so for a yearly purchase. So when you switch this to monthly, you get $24.99. $49.99. I personally have the 15 website plan actually I have a couple of accounts. On one of them I have the 15 website plan, and it works just fine. It works amazing. It takes care of pretty much anything that I needed to take care of. Let's go ahead now and jump into what WPX has to offer. Also, be sure to stay tuned all the way to the end, because I will have some alternatives to WPX if it might not necessarily fit what you're trying to do. So be sure to stay tuned for that. So in terms of features, WPX is through the roof with what they provide. I mean, they provide almost everything. And here are some of the things. I mean, I don't want to go through its entire list because you can really go through them yourself. When you click on one, it'll tell you a little bit of what it does. But I'm going to give you, from a niche site perspective, from running a website, what exactly I use the most when it comes to the things that WPX has to offer. So number one, their CDN. All right. Their CDN is one of those, it's a thing where it copies your website all around in the world at different what are called data centers, so that if someone in Australia tries to pull up your website, it'll just pull from the closest data center to Australia, meaning it doesn't have to go all the way to the United States and then all the way back or something like that, right? So the closer it is for that person, the faster it's going to be. And that CDN or cloud delivery network is really what helps make WPX so stinking fast. So it's one of the amazing benefits that I would say for WPX hosting. They have free SSL, which is, a lot of places do free SSL. They have free backups as well. So they will back up your website every single day and even allow you to be able to restore it at any point. Now, you probably should always have a third-party backup just in case the host doesn't do the backup for you. But even with that, it's pretty reliable. I've had to use it a couple of times when I clicked on something I probably shouldn't have and screwed up my website, but being able to not even have to worry about the customer service. I just did it myself within the platform and was able to restore that website. Another thing that they have available is a DDoS protection. A lot of hosts offer this, but what WPX does differently is that they will automatically move your site somewhere else, change the IP so that you can stop being attacked and your site will stay up. This is done automatically, as in you don't have to notice that your site's down and then have to do something about it. It automatically does those things when it notices that the clicks are coming from, especially if they're coming from somewhere that's nefarious, right? So they can normally detect that pretty quickly, move your site over, and you have minimal downtime. They have malware protection and spyware things, which a lot of different web hosts have as well. But one of the things that I definitely enjoy is the fact that they do have a staging area. So a staging area allows you to create a copy of your website and literally do whatever you want with it. You can completely screw it up. You can completely delete this, move that, just to see what a new theme might look like on the site, or just to see what happens if you make a change here or a change there. And then once it's done and it's where you want it to be, you can just literally one click and it copies the staging area to the main site. A lot of hosts do not offer a staging area, or if they do, it's something that you have to pay extra for. So I definitely appreciate the staging area because you don't have to worry about making live changes to your site that actually causes it to mess up. So you don't want to do anything like that. Now, being a niche site owner, one thing that I do quite often is I have websites transferred over to WPX, and they do it for you, as in they do 100% free migrations. All you have to do is just give them the information on the other WordPress site. They log in and then move everything over immediately. It's done within 24 hours and they guarantee it. You can't really do anything better than that. And probably one of the best parts about WPX that I would definitely love is the fact that their customer service works in less than 30 seconds, guaranteed. I have never had an issue, and I started a chat with the little bot that they have, and within 30 seconds, I have a live human talking to me. Now, they don't have phone support, and so you can't necessarily pick up your phone and just call someone for some help, but the chat feature is just fine. They've taken care of everything for me, and because they are a managed WordPress hosting, I don't have to worry about getting all in the weeds and my cPanel and the back office and all of that fun stuff. I literally just tell them what I want and they do it. All right. And I can't tell you how many students and how many people I have coached who I tell them to use WPX hosting. And that's what they love the most, is when they get stuck, instead of having to start Googling the answer to try to figure out what needs to be done, they just ask the support, and literally within minutes, always, it'll be 24 hours a day, they are there to help out and make sure everything is up and running. Now, in terms of speed, one of the things I wanted to show everyone, here's one website that I happen to have hosted over at WPX, and you can see on the mobile, I'm getting a performance of 92, and I'm getting pretty much greens everywhere else. Best practices, that's something new. I don't even really know what that part means, but you can see everything else is green, and I don't have to worry about it. I'm passing Core Web Vitals, which they make that process very, very easy because they do not slow down your site, and it doesn't mess with any of the Core Web Vital measurements that they have. And even on desktop, you see I'm getting a 97, so it gets even better on desktop. It doesn't get any better than that. You know, being able to have hosting that you don't have to worry about, you know, you can look at all the speed tests that are out there, you can watch videos, you can read blog posts, but this is real world, right? This is a website that's on WPX that I'm using, and it's just an amazing software. Now let's jump into some of the reviews that WPX has. Now, this is going to be interesting right here, because when Trustpilot first starts you off, they don't give you 5 stars and you have to kind of maintain it. I believe they start you off with 3, and then you have to grow to get 4 and 5 stars here. WPX has an excellent history, over almost 2,500 different reviews, 4.9, and they're a verified company. It doesn't get any better than that. I mean, how often can you really have, that many positive reviews? You can see here, 96% give them 5 stars. Usually when I'm looking at reviews and everything, I'll normally jump to like the 3-star reviews just to kind of see, okay, these are the people who, I'm probably a little bit difficult to work with, but they are going to give you a little bit of honesty with what's going on with the site. But there's not even that many of them. There's 9 out of 2,500 reviews. That's pretty epic, in my opinion. And the fact that they've been able to do this over the course of years shows you that they are pretty amazing in their service. And here, just to kind of, piggyback on what I was talking about before. Oh, this is me. Wow. This is back in December 2021. Anyway, best customer support ever. It's really awesome, and in here, professional de-stressor and tech wizards. Oh, that's actually a good point too. You don't have to be very techy in order to get WPX to work, because if you are ever in a jam or you're ever in having a problem with your site, you can literally reach out to WPX and they can fix it for you, which means we can concentrate on building up our sites. We can concentrate on increasing the traffic, increasing the click-through rate and all of that fun stuff. Let's see if I can find another one. The folks over here at WPX are the top, but I mean, you can just see here, 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. Okay, here's one. Very poor speed, customer service is lacking. So there's always going to be one, person right there, but let's just say that they're right, and just go along with it. But if we continue looking, we see WPX support is fantastic, perfect web hosting company, committed to customer service, just green. So we just happened to look on one, and that's actually a good thing. Sometimes you'll see a negative review, which shows you that, okay, they're not 100% perfect, but the fact that 95% of these things are 5 stars, no 3s, no 4s, all 5 stars, shows to me that it is a pretty amazing software. And again, I use it myself. I love the hosting that's there, and I think you should give it a try as well. Now, we have been singing the praises of WPX quite often, but let me give you a few things that maybe I wish that they would do better. All right. So one thing that I wish that they would do better is have a better interface for their website. So like here we are. I mean, the colors are interesting. They actually just changed these colors probably within the last year. I think they had like a blue scheme before, but it's kind of weird. I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of the color scheme that they have. Does it make them unique? 100%, because you're probably not going to find another site that has this type of color scheme. But let's go ahead and jump in to what we can get here over at WPX. I'm just going to zoom in just a little bit. Now, on this account, I only have 5 websites enabled, but this account actually holds a whole bunch of the real one redirects that I have. But I'm going to blank them out because I don't want you all to see my sites. All right. So anyways, you can see here that they're over on the left. There is quite a bit of features that they have available that can get quite technical. But to be honest, I probably digged into these once or twice. I don't do it very, very often. You can get the service details, basically telling you information as to what websites are up, how they're running. The databases, you got to be careful with these. Don't necessarily just jump in trying to make some changes. Managing your websites is just going to give you a list of websites here, and you can get stuff like manage your WordPress if you need to reinstall WordPress for some reason. You can install your SSL certificates here and other different settings. You can also create your staging site. It is interesting to note though that when you do create a staging site, it does take up one of the slots for your on your plan, but I mean, you're only using that staging site usually temporarily, so you make the changes that you need and then just wipe out the staging site and you're good to go. So if you're going to be doing that, just always keep at least one slot available for you to run a staging on a particular site. It also has email. WPX has email. It's not the greatest email interface in the world, but I mean, it's serviceable and it works. I wish it would be a little bit better, but I typically end up just going with Google Suites. and or I think they call it workplaces now, to handle my email, which is perfectly fine. FTP users, so if you need to FTP some stuff into your site, you can do that back and forth with the credentials that they give you. You can edit the DNS, so if you are housing your domain name at WPX, it makes it a lot easier for you to make any changes to the DNS that you might need to. File manager, again, you get the login credentials where you can dump files onto your website. The backups, actually, let me click on the backups just so I can show you kind of exactly what that looks like. All right, so here we are with the backups, and as you can see, every single day I'm getting a backup for my site. It really makes it very easy where I just got to click on one and then just restore it from there. It says all available backups are marked in orange. Automatic backups are kept for a maximum of 28 days. So you have about 30 days that you can go back to just in case, something catastrophic happens with the site and it needs to be restored. Typically, you don't have to really worry about this too much. If something were to happen to your site, you can always contact customer service, and within seconds they are helping you and they can restore your site for you, and you don't have to worry about it. There has been a couple of times where I've screwed a couple of things up and needed this service, and I just message them and they do it for me, which is probably the best part about WPX. Now, some alternatives to WPX would include Bluehost, SiteGround, and even HostGator. I'm going to be honest, I am not a fan of really any of these. I'm not a fan of HostGator for sure. Bluehost, I kind of put them in the same category as HostGator. Now, but SiteGround, they're probably a little bit better. But again, I hate the fact that they kind of get you after that first year, where I think it goes up almost 3 times the amount of money that they charge you that first year just to keep going with them. And, I'm not a big fan of how that's kind of underhanded, in my opinion. If you want a really good alternative, that will probably have to be Cloudways. You're going to spend about the same amount of money as you would with WPX to get the same amount of features, but I still kind of lean towards WPX, mainly because I just have a familiarity with them and I like them, but Cloudways is just as good as well. So do I recommend WPX hosting? 100%. In fact, I like them so much that I partner with them to be able to get you a discount, 50% off that very first month that you start with WPX hosting by using promo code BBP, or just use the link down in the description. Sign up for any of the monthly services and it'll take 50% off of that first month. I mean, most companies only that can partner with WPX are only able to get 25% off. So this is pretty exclusive, so go ahead and check it out. Get a 50% off for that very first month by using WPX hosting. Usually you can use that money to even buy a domain or something like that, and you can get started with some really excellent and great hosting, which I particularly love. Now, building websites is great and something that I've been able to do for years and really, really enjoy the process. So if you want to learn the exact strategy that I've been using to be able to create a full-time income with my blogs, I want you to go check out the video right there where I give you a step-by-step process that I've been using repeatedly and still works.